Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, back in the new year, I thought it's a great time to look back at what was cruising in 2024, and I thought let's go over some of the top stories that happened in 2024. Some of them may be good, some of them may be bad, and maybe something that we can take into 25 and make our next cruises much better. My first story in no particular order, folks. I'm not going to put these in worst to worst kind of thing because they can all be bad, they can all be good. Let's take a look. So number one is the Ultimate World Cruise happened in 2024 with Royal Caribbean. 274 nights, all these different countries, all these different continents. It was meant to be the longest world cruise ever by a major cruise company. But it was fraught with some, shall we say, bad actors. Basically, a lot of people inundated the cruise in short segments, like TikTokers went on board and admitted that they were there to cause drama. They were there to look for the tea, if you will. They were looking for the bad things to happen. And every time something would happen on the cruise, they would immediately post it as if it's the worst thing ever, and most of them had never cruised before in their lives. It all happened basically in the first 30 days or so of the Ultimate World Cruise, and then it just seemed to be a cruise after that. Once the drama people started leaving and not posting every single day about every single thing. I mean, imagine you're visiting 100 and some ports, and one of them got canceled, and then another one got canceled. Wow, that never happens, right? Cruise ports never cancel, and people acted as if this was the weirdest thing to ever happen, and it was all drama. But luckily, it did calm down, and most people just went on and had a great cruise. Next, it was also the year of getting on board the cruise ship only to find out you're not sailing because the ship is broken down. That happened a few times this year. Once on the Radiance of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, the Regal Princess had the same thing happen to it. It was the year of, yeah, we think it's going to be repaired, and then no, it wasn't repaired. So that happened a lot this year, more than I can remember in the past. And it could be because a lot of ships are starting to get a little up there in their age, and so they need more maintenance, and the longer they put things on, don't forget, cruises are busy right now. So if they keep putting off some of this maintenance because they're so busy, this stuff is going to happen. And speaking of things going to happen, how about when the Carnival Magic ran into the dock because of high winds in Jamaica? And ended up having to leave behind passengers, and it crashed into the side and was forced to leave. It caused a big hole, and it also dropped down one of the anchor areas of the ship where you would dock in, and it happens. It just, accidents are going to happen out there, but this was probably the biggest one to happen. That was closed for quite a while, and they had to repair a lot of it. Costs thousands upon thousands of dollars in repairs to the cruise port and the cruise area. So accidents do happen. Also, how about the back-to-back hurricanes this season? It just seemed to all hit at once. This was the year that I cannot remember so many cruise ships not being able to return to port, because either Tampa was closed, or Miami was closed, or Orlando was closed, and they just had to stay out at sea. And it happened numerous times this year. It happened on one of my cruises. My Sun Princess Transatlantic was going on, and there were about 14 ships out at sea that time, not able to return to port. And it happened a few times this year. So just a word of warning in 2025, if you're sailing during hurricane season, just be prepared. You might not make it back to port if the port is actually closed and you can't get in. This year seemed to be more than ever this year. It was kind of crazy. Speaking of crazy, have you checked out the prices of cruises lately? 2024 was definitely the year of the cruise price jumping sky high because everybody's cruising. The ships in 2025 are almost sold out, and it's crazy prices right now. It's hard to fathom. A cruise that 2 years ago would have cost you around $3,000 is now $6,000 to $7,000. The same cruise, the same destination on the same ship. That's how crazy the prices are, and it's all because cruise profits are up. And the cruise lines know it. Norwegian's up, Carnival's up, Royal Caribbean's up, MSC is up. Everybody's prices are up. Everybody's profits are up. And they know it. And while the ships are getting full, they're going to keep pushing that price line until the ships aren't full. They're going to try and squeeze every dollar out of us they possibly can. Whether that's cutting back on the ships, cutting back services, or just increasing the prices, as long as we're willing to pay for it. And I'm one to talk because I sail all the time. I guess I'm probably part of the problem, shall we say. But yeah, definitely the price rising in 2024 is a big story going from last year. Also, one of those stories, Villa V Residences, one of the first residential cruise ships that was in the news all the time. It was supposed to set sail, and then it got delayed. And they ended up sending people to the Canary Islands on holidays that were due to get on the ship. And then they were putting them up in hotels. It took 4 months. But finally, the good news is, Villa V finally set sail and is actually setting sail on their 3.5-year journey right now, which is good news. But boy, for 4 months, those people had sold their homes and sold their apartments and all their belongings to live on a cruise ship, and there was no cruise ship to live on. So glad to see that was resolved. Another big news story in 2024 is the new ships being built. Carnival's come out and said, you know what, after this long pause from the pandemic and everything, that they have ordered 3 more ships. And not only 3 ships, 3 200,000-ton ships. So big ships like Oasis class, Odyssey class, those kind of ships. Also, we have MSC and we have NCL, both saying that their order books are coming in now and they're building bigger than 225,000 gross ton ships. So picture more Oasis class ships basically coming from multiple cruise lines, except for one. While they're still building ships like the Star of the Seas and the Utopia, the Icon, etc., Royal Caribbean has also hinted at building a smaller class of ship, which has a lot of people excited because the smaller cruise ships on Royal Caribbean are definitely getting up there in age and showing their wear and tear, and a lot of people are pretty excited to see some new, smaller ships come back to the fleet. We'll have to wait and see. Haven't seen any designs yet and see what they add on these ships. But that was definitely big news. Everybody's ordering bigger ships. And Royal Caribbean said, you know what, we are too, but we might just go for some smaller ships, which has a lot of people talking. This is also the year of canceled cruises. And what do I mean by that? I mean redeployment. For about 3 months, I reported that Norwegian Cruise Line was canceling sailings. Cancel, 2025, 2026. Basically, they have redeployed their entire fleet and just wiped the slate clean, canceling sailings on almost every ship in their fleet as they maneuver them to new destinations with new ships coming online like the Aqua, and they just canceled everybody. Here's your money back. We're canceling it. And by the way, here's a 10% credit for your next sailing to compensate. And if you think about it, if they're willing to give all these hundreds and hundreds of canceled cruises their money back plus 10%. Just think of what they're probably charging for the new sailings, the new redeployment. I bet you they've raised their prices at least that 10% to compensate for all the money that they just shelled back. And that goes for everybody out there, all the cruise lines who have canceled sailings for redeployment and offered any kind of compensation for it. You know they're making their money back somewhere else. But yeah, definitely more canceled cruises than I can possibly remember from one cruise line, basically redeploying their entire fleet going forward. Number 9, this one happened and it was a pretty scary event on the Explorer of the Seas when it was hit with high winds and a bit of a rogue wave and the cruise ship tilted to the side. That must have been a very scary situation. Imagine you're walking through the atrium there, it's like a shopping mall, and all of a sudden your shopping mall is on its side like this, freaking out a lot of people. Smashed a lot of bottles and glasses from the bars and plates and everything. Things went flying across the rooms. And it took about 10 to 15 minutes before it started to restabilize itself. The crew got the ship back under control. Wasn't anything the ship did. It wasn't anything that broke down. It was just a freak wave and wind combination at that particular time that caused this to happen. But definitely a scary situation and had a lot of people talking about the safety of cruise ships, especially these huge, large cruise ships. Can they withstand these kind of waves and this kind of? Well, apparently they can, because the ship continued to sail on and everybody was fine. So that's good news there. How about, finally, this is definitely the year of the norovirus outbreak. As I reported all year, there were 16 norovirus outbreaks this year. That's the most in over a decade, in 12 years. That's the most that's ever occurred. And 5 in 1 month, the month of December. So it wasn't like it was slowing down. It was actually increasing as the year end. Let's hope we do not break that record in 2025. We don't need more norovirus cruise ships. We need to be healthy and enjoy our cruises and not get sick. At least, that's the hope for 2025. Are there any other stories in 2024 you can think of? These are some big ones that I think were pretty big for 2024 and kind of has me all set for 2025. Let me know in the comments down below your top story in 2024. And until next time, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.